You know, sitting around out here in the Quigley, watching the fields, looking for deer or whatever. You get a lot of time just to think and ponder. And yeah, like I said, sometimes that can be pretty hard for me. That thinking gets to be right painful in the head sometimes. But anyway, I put up in the not too distant past a couple of videos, just some random thoughts, particularly about deer hunting and how deer hunting's changed, and kind of contrasting an old codger like me with a lot of these newer, younger hunters. I mean, a generation gap, I guess you'd call it. But anyhow, I mentioned if you put up a video on YouTube, you're going to get some comments here and there, and like I said, most of them are thought out. Either just friendly, nice compliments, or thought out, or thought out comments. They put a little thought to them, and then you get some that, oh, to be kind, are not very well thought out. My daddy used to have a saying that I've heard him say a time or two. He might even been directing it at me. Oh, Daddy would say, if you keep your mouth shut, people might think you're stupid. But if you open it, they're going to know it. Oh, Lordy. I might ought to heed that advice a little more than what I do sometimes. But anyhow, a couple of more little comments that I want to comment on. I'd made I think it was the video we just called Deer Camp. I believe that's the one. And the guy said, too much staged footage or whatever to do any serious hunting. Well, oh, if he'd have paid any attention to that video at all, he would have seen plainly that it covers. There's 3 days to make that video was 3 days, and I hunted for 3 days, long days, and I think total maybe somewhere around 20 minutes or so of in the woods hunting. Now, unless you've got a videographer, you got a camera guy along with you, you're going to record the hunt a little bit or show a little bit of something about the hunt. You're going to have to do it yourself. Of course you are. So every once in a while, when you find a place there in the woods that lends itself good to it, you set the camera up, and you kind of, the optic is just to try to show you a little bit about where you were hunting and how you hunt. Lord have mercy, that's all it is. Mainly so I can come back and look at it myself and say, and just it's your own memories that you're putting up. For your own. They're primarily for my own enjoyment, my own. So I can go back and look at some of the hunts and places and friends and stuff where you can enjoy it. That's the primary purpose of this whole channel. like I said before, if you go back all the way to the very first videos that I ever put up and started on the YouTube channel was a trip that my wife and I made to Utah. And I pretty much recorded most of that. And we met a young guy at a place called Muley Point in Utah. And I believe that's the name of he's on the video. I believe it's called Muley Point Part 2, I think. But anyway, Muley Point's one of the most beautiful, strikingly beautiful places you'll ever see. It's positively amazing. So if you got the time, I would suggest you go back and look at, go scroll way back in the channel, go all the way back and look at Muley Point. Actually, Muley Point Part 1 and Part 2 both, but this young guy's on Part 2. And I told him if I could figure out how to get some of that footage to him that I was shooting in, I'd send it to him. Well, he's the one that suggested YouTube and what got me started on. Anyway. So I started the YouTube just to record that trip so my wife and I could go back and look at it and remember. And to our amazement, some other people found that little channel good enough to subscribe to, which surprised the dickens out of me. But anyway, that's what got it started. And I've been a photographer since the 60s and been doing a lot of video stuff since the 80s. But I just go out and shoot, the big old heavy cumbersome cameras and all that, and using tape and what have you. And so I'd shoot a lot of footage and then just come back and download it onto CDs, and it's just all raw footage. So never edited or cut down or take a 10 or 11 hours and cut it down to something that a normal person would want to watch, I didn't do that. But when I got into the YouTube, doing the thing for the YouTube and got a simple little editing program, started making these videos, well, it's fun. I enjoy it. So, yeah, I like to record some of my little hunting and fishing trips. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for its sake, just to see if you could, improve on your videos a little bit. Make them where I like to see them better. And anyway, if I'm I don't have a paid cameraman, so if I'm going to record a hunt, then I got to do it. So yeah, there's a little bit of stage stuff. You got to do that. I mean, you ain't got any choice. If you're going to video it, you got to do it. So anyway, out of 3 days, I took the time to put together maybe 20 or so minutes. And basically, that's all the footage I got. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of raw footage and you can edit it down. No, that's just it. But out of 3 days, I got 20 or so minutes. And this guy says, I don't have enough time to do any hunting. Lord have mercy. 20 minutes out of 3 days? I think I got enough time to do a little bit of hunting. But if he'd pay attention, he could clearly see it's filmed over 3 days, for heaven's sake. But anyway. And then another fellow come along and he watched that, and where he gets a lot of this, I don't really know. But anyway, he among other things, what was it? He said, oh, yeah, again, got on to me about wearing blue jeans on the bottom. How well deer could see them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But he don't mention. I mean, it never bothers him that there was a rifle season, and I got blaze orange on my chest, chest and head and all that. You got blaze orange, and that didn't bother him a bit. But it really upset him because I was wearing blue jeans. Oh Lordy, holy moly! And then he offered me some real sage advice. He said, and I need to learn to hunt something besides trails, because deer know that people use trails, and so the deer will avoid trails except at night. Evidently, you don't know a whole lot about trails either. Deer adapt to anything. And if just because people there don't mean deer are going to avoid it. No, not by a long shot. If you think deer avoid where people are, why do you think there's so many cotton picking deer in town and in subdivisions? Around here, there's more deer in town than subdivisions than there are out here in farm country in national forest. National forest has the lowest population of deer. Farmland has the next, but city and subdivisions are overrun with them. They adapt real quickly. Now, another thing, around through this part of the country, the Appalachian Trail, matter of fact, it seems like it runs absolutely everywhere. Because it seems like no matter where I want to go in the mountains, the Appalachian Trail shows up eventually. It's there somewhere. I mean, and a lot of traffic on the Appalachian Trail, if you know anything about it, and it's one of the most popular places for people to hunt. People walk that trail hunting. I've done it myself. And the Appalachian Trail goes through some great deer country. I've killed deer from the Appalachian Trail. It's a popular place. It's a popular trail, and deer, bear, and everything else cross it, follow it, and they're around it. They're not really particularly upset about the Appalachian Trail. And any other trail that are used, the deer know the trail's there, and yeah, they may know people use it from time to time. But they also know whether somebody's on it or not. For heaven's sake, I mean, if the deer just tried to avoid trails per se, there's very few places in this country that you can go that there's not a trail here and there. I mean, I hunt the wilderness areas in the Rocky Mountains. Have for many, 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 many years, 25 years, way back in as far as you can go, getting back in the wilderness areas. And I don't care how deep you go in whatever wilderness area you're in, there are trails. There are trails all over the place. Yeah, you can, like around here, you can get off the trail and have all the backwoods and backcountry you want and not see anybody for days. But there are trails everywhere. So if critters, if deer and elk and stuff don't learn to adapt to trails, they're in a lot of trouble. So, oh, but maybe I guess he was, I don't know what made him think I just hunt trails. I don't know. But anyway, he did. So, yeah, I have hunted trails. I have hunted long trails for sure. Because I don't have any choice. Here and there, you're gonna run on a trail. So you either quit hunting, close your eyes and quit hunting till you get off that trail, or you hunt while you're on the trail. But the vast majority of my hunting is in deep woods, national forest, deep woods, big mountains, and I can go for days and not see another hunter. And yeah, in a lot of the places at the end of a road, or there'd be like a little place you can park, and there might be a trail take off for a ways. There are trails that sometimes go from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top and beyond, and you might use that trail as an access to certain areas. But you don't just hunt the trail, for God's sake. Lord have mercy. Hey, gosh. People never cease to amaze me. And how free they can be with their advice when they're giving you advice on something they know nothing about. They don't know the whole story. Either they know absolutely nothing about the subject, or they do not know the whole story. So, whatever. I get a kick out of some of them, though. Talk soon. You know, without a doubt, this is one of the most incredibly beautiful falls that I've ever seen. The colors are just spectacular. And the amount of leaves that's still on the tree here at the farm in this little basin here is just mind-boggling. It's beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Now, one of my favorite times of the year is when all the leaves are gone. So I can come out here and I can not only see the fields, but I can see in the woods. I can see all the way to the top of this mountain, that mountain, the other mountain. And you can sit around and you can see game, deer, and what have you moving up on the mountain. Not just here in the field. But right now, all I can see is what's here in the field. There's an incredible amount of leaves still hanging on the trees. Unbelievable. But it's pretty. It's beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful. So, anyway, it's incredibly beautiful fall. Somebody over at the gun club doing a little shooting. It's just plumb beautiful. God's creation is something else. You know, you look at all this, you know, the way I look at things, if there's a piece of artwork, then there's an artist. If there was a building, then there's a builder. If there's a creation, then there's a creator. And when you just stop and think of the creation from the smallest atom to the universe itself, it's all so perfect, so complicated, so perfect, and so intricate, and so amazingly how it just all fits together. I guess there are basically two ways of looking at things. Intelligent design. Either a very intelligent being made or created all this. Everything that you see out there, it's so perfect, so intricate, so interwoven. That an intelligent being, it's the work of an intelligent being, an unbelievably intelligent being. Either an unbelievably intelligent being, a God, the God. Either God created this, or it created itself out of nothing. That's about the only two choices you got. Either intelligent design, or it just created itself out of nothing. And you look around, you see how intricate everything is, and you think that created itself from nothing. That takes a leap of faith, in my opinion. Oh, I just can't believe that it created itself out of nothing. Even God's word, the Bible says that the evidence of His existence is before you when you open your eyes and you just look. You know, the word says you know that there's a creator. Your common sense, your own just common sense tells you when you look out there and you look at this world, God said that alone is in all the proof you need that he exists. Yeah, boy, I'll agree with that. He's a good God. He's a good daddy. He's a good daddy to all his kids. And thanks to him and what all he did for me, he made me one of his kids. I'm a member of the family, so I like that idea. I like that idea just fine. Well, I've sat out here and enjoyed the morning, which I love to do. Spring and fall, I love to just come out here and sit around the Quigley and just enjoy it with. Rarely ever do I take a shot, at anything, but I like to sit out here just to look, to enjoy. Goodness gracious. How blessed I am to be able to live right here. This is a beautiful place, beautiful farm. Some YouTube friends that we met from Buffalo, New York, as a matter of fact, come down and they visited for a while, going around looking at the farm and everything. He said, you know, the Dutton Ranch don't have anything on this place. That might be a stretch of the imagination, but it may not be the Dutton Ranch or the King Ranch or anything like that, but boy, it's as close to heaven on earth to me. And I thank the Lord for this place. Diane and I feel like we're on perpetual vacation. Working vacation. About the only sounds you ever hear out here at all is either sounds from game like turkeys or things like that, or coyotes yipping, or an airplane going over, and every once in a while some shooting from the gun club over here. Gun club, one of our neighbors is a gun club, and they had hundreds of acres. And there's, from time to time, there's a bit of shooting over there, but there's probably not any more shooting over there than there is here at the farm. But other than a little bit of shooting, which to me is music to my ears, a little bit of shooting, and an airplane, my God, you just rarely just don't hear nothing. You can't see a light. You don't hear any noise. If anybody shows up out here, they're either lost or they're a friend or a relative deliberately coming to see you. I love my home. Good wife. Good home. I'm one of the most blessed people that you'll ever meet. I am blessed. And I know it. Talk soon.